Welcome back to Maya's Reviews, a blog and podcast where I review all types of movies and novels. I'm Maya.
And I'm Rory.
And today we are going to be reviewing Tusk. Now, since it is October, I decided why not have my friend Rory on for a special episode. So we're recording a review of Tusk, so enjoy. Tusk was directed by Kevin Smith and was released by A24. It is a horror comedy and came out in 2014. It is rated R. The average rating on Letterboxd is 2.4 out of 5 stars. It's only 102 minutes, even though it feels like an eternity. The budget was $3 million, and Rory, do you want to guess how much it made at the box office?
I'm gonna assume it wasn't that much.
Take a guess.
$15.
1.9 million, so they lost like more than $1 million. So
there's not going to be a sequel?
I will get to that. There's actually going to be a trilogy.
There is?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So apparently there's a trilogy called True North, and the second movie is actually out, and it's called Yoga something.
Yoga?
So I don't know what it has to do with anything, but it's yoga something.
I can envision it.
Yeah. The movie stars Justin Long as Wallace, Michael Parks as Howard Howe, Allie is played by Genesis Rodriguez, Teddy is played by Haley Osment, and what's his name? Guy Lapointe is Johnny Depp. Did you realize that was Johnny Depp?
I don't know any of those people.
Rory.
I'm not very, educated on actors.
Okay. But you know the characters?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's a start. So, right. Rory, you're afraid of walruses, right?
I was afraid of them at first because when I first, saw the trailer and it was the mad scientist guy, chopping him up.
Yeah.
And also, the pool with all the dead bodies, that scared me. But as soon as, I started watching the movie and I learned the main character was named Wallace, it wasn't that bad anymore. It was so goofy after that.
Okay, so much I guess not much like the movie, but the movie starts off with their podcast, The Nazi Party, N-O-T-S-E, so I don't get attacked online. But we're not like those two idiots. We're not like those two idiots. But basically, Wallace and Teddy run their podcast, right? What did you think of their podcast, Roy?
I didn't like it, not one bit. I thought they were unfunny, and I thought they were playing a real negative part, making fun of kids. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how did you... so basically, Wallace is sent around the country to interview all these weirdos, right? That is what they classify that as. And they're going to interview this kid who cut his leg off with a sword.
What?
What did you think of that? The special effects.
Sword kid? I love the special effects. That was the highlight of the movie for me.
Wallace basically goes to Canada, because we all love Canada, to interview this Kill Bill kid. And basically, he gets there and there's a funeral because Kill Bill kid killed himself.
That bums me out quite a bit. But yeah. I still like Wallace a lot, even though he might be a Nazi and maybe he sort of did make a kid kill himself. Aside from all the things they make him do.
He's not an actual Nazi, right?
Well, I mean, if he's naming his podcast the Nazi podcast, it's kind of implied.
I mean,
that
I guess.
At least thinks it's funny.
That is true. He's just a shitty person. I don't think he's an actual Nazi.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was racist or something.
That's a fair point.
Maybe.
I mean, he does cheat on his girlfriend.
Yeah. But
and brags about it.
At least in the conversation he had with Howard, I actually liked him.
Yeah. But yeah, as the airport guy says, you got your can of do's and your can of don'ts. I think that might be a quote I live by from now on. Yeah. But basically, Wallace is pissed that little kid died. He's he's not even mad. He's not even sad that the little kid died. He's just angry that he doesn't have content for a podcast. Don't spit out the water.
Yeah.
He's just like...
I think... No.
But Wallace is pissing at the bar, and he sees an advertisement for Howard Howe's little story time thing. And would you go to Howard Howe's story time, Rory?
If there were other people going and I wasn't the only one, I would think about it. Because, like, especially if it's at a mansion, you know, like Howard Howe story time, that does sound fun.
Yeah. But I feel like Wallace ignores the, like, plenitude of red flags. Like, his name is Howard Howe, first of all.
That's a pretty cool name. That means he had good parents who, like,
but it's not even his real name.
Thinkers. I know, but if you're to assume that's his real name, he was raised by, like, creative people. So I think that's a good sign. Yeah.
Yeah. But he gets to the house, right? And he talks to him, and I just think, you know, he kind of already talks like he's a serial killer, so I feel like he should have dipped.
He seemed like a nice old man at first. It was only until he started talking about the walrus that it seemed...
Yeah, Rory, you would have died. You would have been like Wallace.
I probably would have. I think I would have caught him first. You know, I would have realized
would
what
you
was
have turned
going
him
on.
into a walrus?
Absolutely. I would. I think, yeah, that's what I do.
You're like, I actually am Howard Howe. But he goes into the bathroom. Did you see the weird little, like, doll thing he had in there? Like, what was that?
I don't know what it is, but, like, after he stopped pissing, he was so excited. Like, he came out, like, shouting and stuff and whooping and hollering. Did you not notice that?
I did. But, like, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Why was he... Like, I guess he's in a mansion, but, like...
Maybe. That's how I act after I'm done pissing. Like, I just come out of there like, woo boy! Exactly. That would be me.
I think Howard Howe would literally... I don't think he would even, like, bother drugging you. I think you'd just be dead. I don't even think...
You might be right. I don't think I would survive.
I don't think you'd even make it to the walrus stage. He'd just be like...
You think?
But I feel like you give off walrus energy.
I give off walrus. I feel more like a seal.
A seal.
A seal.
Yeah. I feel like you're too nice to have, like, tusks.
Maybe.
You know? But basically, you know, they're talking, and Howard gives him tea, which at first you're like, oh, he's just a sweet old man. And Howard starts doing impressions of his grandma. Did you catch that? All the impressions the dude does, Howard.
I sort of blocked that part out because I got really bored, but...
It's like I can't even recreate, like, the noises he makes to try and sound like somebody's grandma.
Can we just play it? I think I have it.
You have it? Did you record it?
My grandma Lindsay used to tell us, you needn't go very far to find hell in a handbasket.
Like, he's just...
I wish he was my grandpa.
You'd be like, if he was your grandpa, you'd go over, like, to visit, and instead of getting, like, cookies or something nice, you'd be like, hey, you want to see my walrus? Or no,
he'd be like... walrus penis?
Yeah, you want to see my walrus penis that I hang on the wall?
My walrus penis.
Or not even the wall, it's the bone.
But it's not, but he also has, like, the really cool bottle of wine.
But I don't even think he actually met Ernest Hemingway, because he claims he met Ernest.
I think he met
Ernest Hemingway.
I don't know who Ernest Hemingway is. Is that bad?
He, like, wrote a bunch of books.
Oh. Well, I think that part was true.
He's an old white dude.
I think that part was true.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't know.
I don't know why.
Because he says that... Because later on it's explained that he went... he lived in an orphanage because both his parents died violently in front of him. Yeah. And then that orphanage... Like Batman.
Like Batman. That's exactly what
You know what really makes me mad? I was rewatching the Batman movies, and I was just thinking about how Batman, like, he's not like Darth Vader where he has, like, something that changes his voice.
Yeah.
He just does it by himself.
That's pretty cool, though. That just makes him cooler.
No, but think about it. He's going around going, I'm Batman.
Exactly. He, like, plays into it. He's committed. He's more committed than Darth Vader, who just puts on a stupid mask to make everything easy.
But I don't know. It's like if you went around to just like, and you just started speaking in this like deep voice, I'd be like, Rory, what are you doing?
Okay, listen. Darth Vader is here.
Yeah.
And Batman is here. And then Howard Howe is way up here.
You're like, he's actually through the ceiling. Where are you along the...
Yeah, you're playing in, like, the little leagues right now. Get back to the big leagues. We're in Tusk territory.
So, so Howard Howe's up here, Batman's here, and then, like... Or no, he's, like, down here, right?
Yeah.
And then, who else?
Darth
Vader.
Yeah.
So where are you along here?
Me? I'm, like, way down here.
You're, like, below Darth Vader?
I don't think I'm above Darth Vader. Like, he's still the Sith Lord, whatever that
Yeah.
means. I haven't actually watched the Star Wars movies.
Oh my God.
What?
You haven't watched Star Wars?
I have not.
I guess that's valid. Have you watched Star Trek?
No.
Me neither.
Should I feel bad about these things? I feel
No.
bad about them.
No.
Okay.
It's like saying you haven't watched Harry Potter. I don't think it's a big deal, you know? Where would I be? I feel like I'm below you on the thing then. But like, what are we ranking it
We
off?
can be equal.
We're
I think
equal.
we'd be
Okay, so we're equal below Darth Vader, and then
Exactly.
there's so us, Darth Vader, Batman, and then Howard Howe's like not even visible.
That's how I like it. Howard Howe is
Howard
the
Howe,
best.
yeah.
Yeah.
Howard Howe forever, actually.
Mm-hmm.
He may kill people, but you know. I think they skip over too fast that he has like a walrus penis on his wall. Like he literally has that in his house.
I think we needed to spend that much time on it.
No, I'm saying in the movie. Like he's just like, oh, pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's weird that Wallace like plays along with it, but I also think that just gives him good chemistry with like Howard.
But I think he's also
They're-
just dumb, Wallace. I think he's a little stupid.
Well, of course he's stupid, but I think that's the reason he has good chemistry with Howard.
Yeah.
Like, if Howard wasn't a murderer, then I
They'd be
feel like
besties.
it could be such a good movie about, like, a father-son sort of thing. He teaches him the ways of
The ways of walruses.
Yeah, and that's how he gives up his life as, like, a Nazi or whatever.
Oh, yeah. No, but right, they go over that, and then Howard talks about how he was, like, lost at sea, right? Which is setting up this whole thing with how, you know, why he is obsessed with walruses. And he had seen this, he got stranded on some little island for, like, a couple of months, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he killed Mr. Tusk.
Yeah. I have a theory about that.
Yeah.
Because I probably have to rewatch it. Mm-hmm. But... Wait, did the walrus actually, like... Did he meet the walrus after he swam onto the island thing? Yeah, I think the walrus was dead from the start.
Oh, from the start?
Yeah, I think
that
he
would kind of
found
make sense.
a walrus corpse. And that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. Well, because he talks about, like, using it for warmth.
Yeah.
So it's like... I don't know if a live walrus would have let him just be like, hey, bro.
Probably not. And that's why he wants to, like... Well, it still doesn't make sense why he wants to turn people into walruses to make up for it. But maybe he wants, like, a corpse-like walrus, sort of. And that's what he's getting at. It still doesn't make sense, though.
I love how he had his little Titanic moment.
He did?
Yeah, because the ship ran into an iceberg.
It was so adorable. I love
Him and the walrus. So the walrus is just Jack.
Yeah. So,
So maybe this is
And
all a
Jack
metaphor
dies.
for Titanic. So maybe this is if Rose had gone crazy and tried to find a different Jack.
I like that idea.
This is just Howard Howe trying to find his Jack, his Leonardo DiCaprio.
What was the actual inspiration for it? Was it like...
I think the director had a podcast and they had just talked about like the idea and then they actually made it into a movie.
We could make a movie.
100%. We should make Titanic Howard Howe style.
Ooh. So how...
Just have the walrus on the front, like...
Yeah. I don't know any of like the Titanic characters or how that could work, but maybe...
No, but as Howard Howe says, I saw my savior, I saw a walrus.
Yeah, so he definitely saw like a walrus corpse. And I think he was just so insane at this point.
Yeah.
You know? And
that he was like, hey, bro, this is my bestie.
Sort of.
Dead Walrus.
And that's like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but Wallace passes out. Like, he just falls face first on the floor. Yeah. And then it's revealed that, he has a girlfriend named Allie, and later on it's revealed that Allie and Teddy, so Teddy is the podcast partner, right? Yeah. They've been having an affair because Wallace has been cheating on Allie while on the road.
That's understandable.
What? Like Allie, like him cheating, or
maybe
or Teddy
Allie
and Allie
cheating?
having.
I
think her cheating is more understandable than him cheating.
I'm not a relationship expert. Like, if someone cheated on me, I wouldn't care. But like, in Allie's situation, I think it's sort of maybe not justified. Maybe she should have just like broken up with him first.
Yeah. Well, because Teddy, too, like, defends her to Wallace and is like, you shouldn't cheat on her.
Yeah.
So I think Wallace is just an asshole. And
sort of.
Yeah. And then Allie's just, like, getting revenge, kind of, wow, the train. Hi, train. We'll just keep going. It's fine.
Maybe.
The train, it's a common occurrence. But Wallace wakes up and he's missing a leg.
Oh, that part actually did scare me because, like, Howard was gaslighting him.
So hard. You got bit by a spider.
I don't like.
What do you mean, Rory? You got bit by a spider.
And then his story gets like shittier as he goes on.
Yeah, the doctor stepped on the phone. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
and then he removed all the phones from the house.
That part scared me. It really did.
Well, because he can't feel his legs, so he doesn't know that he's missing one of them. And then he pulls back the blanket and he's like, where did it go?
Yeah.
He makes like a whole bunch of excuses. And he's strapped into the wheelchair too. Yeah. And so then like I think Wallace starts realizing at this point like this is probably not right. But like he believes him at first about the spider. Yeah. Because I don't think he remembers passing out.
Do you think that would be like believable at all? Like, I don't having brought a spider in?
Think so. Because I'm not familiar with, because it's a brown recluse that he gets bit by, supposedly.
You memorized it? Oh, nothing.
But he's like, Dr. Boussier. Boussier? That's the name he gives the doctor.
I really should have listened
Dr. Boussier.
I didn't hear any of these
He's
things.
like, yeah, Dr. Boussier removed all the phones to not disturb you, but then Wallace is like, well, I need to go to the hospital. And but then Howard is like, oh, I'll call Dr. Boussier. But it's like, how are you going to call when there's no phones?
No, he was like refusing to call him. He was saying that the hospital is all dirty and there's germs and stuff, and that's why he can't go. Yeah. And that seemed like, especially just in the room that he was in with all the old antiques, it just made me uncomfortable.
I would have cried.
Same.
Yeah.
I think he did cry.
Well, and then Howard rolls away laughing. Did you see that? He afterwards he's like, I'm so sorry for your loss, and he's like giggling. Like
maybe it's like, maybe he sees that as a good thing, like the loss of his humanity, become more walrus.
Do you think he would make a walrus army?
I don't think he would make a walrus.
Have them take over the world?
Maybe. I think he would want to convert everyone to walrus.
To walrus, yeah.
But
just have everyone.
Yeah. The sad irony is he can't make himself walrus.
Oh.
And that's why I always
he's
felt
alone.
bad for him. Yeah, he's the lone man.
You feel bad because Howard Howe, yeah. Aw. Poor Howard.
Poor Rory.
He can't be. But then Wallace can't even move his arms at dinner. And Howard's like, why aren't you eating?
Yeah.
He's like mad.
It's so goofy. I guess he won't like expected him to eat like a walrus. Yeah. It's more manipulation.
I didn't even realize that, Rory.
Oh my.
That like he would have to use his
Yeah. That's what I think it was.
Yeah. But then, oh my gosh, because then Wallace, this part, I was dying because Wallace goes like, there was no spider, was there? And like, Howard goes, it was so small, you might even call it itsy bitsy, and he just starts singing like maniacally.
It scared me.
It is so terrifying.
I don't...
But then Wallace starts like screaming.
Yeah.
He's like just yelling.
And he's just gonna do that for like the rest of the movie from now on.
But then Howard starts like screaming and grunting back.
Yeah.
He's like in animal. I think mentally Howard Howe is a walrus, but like you said, he can never actually be a walrus. He's just alone.
I feel like he was the most man of them all. I feel like the sad truth about Howard is that the reason he can't be a walrus isn't just because, like, you know, he can't do the surgery on himself. He just, like, mentally isn't at that perfect level yet. He's still too obsessed with, like, serial killing.
Yeah.
You know, the walrus is kind.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like he wouldn't like being a walrus. Like, he wants someone else to be the walrus.
Does he?
Well, yeah, because he keeps making a bunch of different walruses, so he wants somebody else to be the walrus.
So, like, if he converted everyone to walrus, would he still not want to be walrus?
I don't know.
I kind of feel like he wouldn't.
That he wouldn't want to be or that he wouldn't want to be human, or wouldn't want to be a walrus.
Wouldn't want to be walrus, because, honestly, I think it sort of came off as, like, a weird, like, sexual thing.
Well, because later on they point out, I think Allie asks, like, are they, you know, sexually abused? And, like, Johnny Depp goes, like, nah.
Wait, that was Johnny Depp?
That was Johnny Depp.
Oh my goodness.
I know,
Guy
LaPlante or whatever. No, Wallace is just, like, screaming at this point. And then and then Howard's like, I'm gonna make you a walrus. Yeah. And he calls him Mr. Tusk. And then he says, he goes, like, you must be a walrus. And then he goes, to answer the question which has plagued us, is man indeed a walrus at heart?
That's the part where I just stopped taking it seriously again. Like, I don't understand how they can make him so creepy, like, from a gaslighting serial killer to just immediately...
You're like, what?
Walrus?
Would you let Howard Howe make you into a walrus?
It's a hard question, because I want to be walrus, but the process to become walrus, I don't think I'm ready for it.
You're not mentally walrus yet.
I'm not mentally ready for the transition.
Oh, the worst part, this was, like, so frustrating to me, because later on, I think Wallace, later on, he hears the phone, and he can move his arms now, so he rolls over to the phone, and because Allie, his girlfriend, was calling him, and he just misses her call, and then Allie goes back and is talking to Teddy, who she's having an affair with, and he's, like, calling them, like, guys, he cut off my leg. He's gonna make me into a walrus. Like, please help. And then he calls both of them, and they're like, busy being with each other. And I'm like... And the thing is, Teddy goes into the bathroom and sees that he's calling and just ignores it.
That was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But maybe it was actually better that they didn't answer, because then he left the message. And then
they have evidence.
Yeah.
That's true. Because they probably couldn't have gotten there any earlier. I mean, he would have still been a walrus when they got there.
Like, if Allie picked up, imagine, like, she'd probably be, like, screaming at him or something, and he wouldn't have time to tell him where he is.
That is true.
Yeah.
But... basically, Howard finds him and is like... What is he? He, like, knocks him out or something, and Wallace is like, I don't want to die in Canada! I don't want to die in Canada!
Either. That would stink.
Yeah. Well, because, like, I feel like Canada is, like, too nice a place to die, you know?
Yeah, but the problem with Canada is, syrup?
Like lumberjacky? Is that what you're saying?
I have nothing to say about Canada.
That's
It's an
fine.
uninteresting place, and that's why I wouldn't want to die there.
But Howard just goes, you'll be a walrus, or you'll be nothing.
I love that line. Because I think there's truth behind it.
Wait, what do you mean? No. You gotta... Okay, what do you mean? Like...
Okay, if he was into walrus, then he would have killed him, and that's why he would have been nothing, and that's why he had to become walrus to survive. You see?
Yeah. Well, and then Allie and Teddy, they wake up, and they see the call, and they're like... What the hell? Because they start... Can you imagine, like, getting that call? Like, if I called you and I'm like, Rory, pick up! There's an old man, he cut off my leg and he's turning me into a walrus.
I wouldn't
be like...
believe...
Exactly, I'd be so dead.
Wallace. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'd be so dead. Like, because who's gonna believe that? And then this is where they show Howard, like, sewing Wallace's skin into, like, the walrus thing.
Yeah.
Which is, like, so nasty. And you can see, like, he has diagrams, so it's implied that he's done this before.
And he can draw.
And yeah, and he's an artiste.
He's so skilled. He's, like, so many diverse skills. I love Howard. I would marry Howard.
So, Howard goes through his whole backstory, why he's, like, evil and everything, which is, like, utter bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But Wallace wakes up screaming on the platform. He's just, like, howling because he's now a walrus.
Like, the zoom out shot they did. It wasn't scary at all after that, but I loved it so much.
What is happening? No, the first time I watched this, because this is the second time I've watched this, and the first time I watched this, I was like, I've heard it's pretty good, and I was sitting there, and I was like, what is going on? Because this is not what I expected.
No, but it wasn't what I expected at all. I wasn't scared whatsoever.
Yeah, well, because
I said this already.
Yeah, well, because
yeah.
I thought, like, I didn't realize you were actually scared to watch this movie, so I was like, I'll bring Rory on.
No, I was terrified
and then
to
I
watch
felt
it.
so bad because when I realized that, I was like, oh.
I think my biggest problem with it was just the scene in, like, the pool filled with corpses.
Oh, when it's, like, all the dead walruses down there.
Yeah, it reminded me of, like, a barn that's been, like, run down with all the rotting animal corpses that just roll around in feces. And it's disgusting. I would never want that.
Well, because I think, too, like, all those, like, the people that had been in them aren't in there anymore. Because the Johnny Depp, like, his character talks about later how a bunch of people have been found without legs, without tongues, with, like, so he, like, holes in their mouth.
Pulls them out?
Yeah, I think so. Because if you look on later, like, when Howard and Wallace are, like, fighting as walruses, Howard's, like, head kind of goes... Or not Howard. Wallace's head kind of goes into the walrus a little bit.
That part was so goofy. I love that part so much.
It's so stupid, but it's so funny. And so I think it's, like, they're not necessarily... Like, I think they are, like, mutilated, but they're not... The actual walrus thing, I don't think is necessarily their skin.
No, probably not, because it'd be so bloated and stuff.
Yeah.
But do you think they were, like, skinned alive under it?
Maybe.
Could be. That's probably why they couldn't, like, take him out of the suit afterwards.
Probably. Well, yeah, because I think some of them, because he says, like, some of them are skinned, like the Johnny Depp, like, they're found like that. So I wonder if some people he kidnaps to make the walrus suit, and then some people he kidnaps to put in the walrus.
Oh, that's even more terrifying.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't think, because that was definitely not all Wallace's skin. Like, there's no possible way.
There was, like, another face on it and an ear or something.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, so, ew. Yeah, so I'm like, I think Howard, like, kidnaps people. Some of them he uses for the walrus, like, suit.
Yeah.
And then the suit. And then the others he, like, puts in there.
It's disgusting.
He's just, like so nasty.
But bag of skin.
I just...
Or someone's walrus fetish.
Well, and I think it's not a funny scene, but it also is, like, when he wakes up and he's just screaming, because also in the background you have, like, this serene music playing.
Oh, no, that was a funny scene.
And
I liked that part a lot. It was so artistic. It was scary because of, like, the chain.
Yeah.
But I did like the classical music and projectors it added.
Well, and then he goes, "Walruses don't cry."
Yeah.
Because he's like...
Yeah, it was walruses.
Yeah, but then Allie... Okay, so Allie and Teddy now, they're looking for him. And I'm like, you guys could have done that, like, earlier, I feel, And they're going to the cops, and the cop is like, yeah, we've actually kind of heard about the serial killer, but we haven't been doing anything about it. So, like, here's this guy who has been. And then they meet Johnny Depp, and we find out he's killed 23 people that they know of. Howard Howe.
Johnny Depp was my favorite character. I loved him so much. Even
he's
more
so
than
sassy.
Mr. Tusk.
Yeah. But then this is where his MO, right, he, like... skins their body.
Yeah.
They have no legs anymore. Their arms are, like,
Yeah.
sewn together.
Yeah.
They have no... Their, like, tongue is gone. And then, you know, it's clarified, Howard, this isn't sexual. He doesn't have relations with the walruses, which I don't believe.
Me neither. Especially that one scene where he's like, I'm gonna show you how cruel humanity can really be, Mr. Tusk.
No, like...
That scene...
Well, when they're swimming together in the pool...
Yeah, that's like... those were in the same scene. And it cuts to a shot of, like... Howard putting a bath towel around his waist and like Mr. Tusk like coughing up in the background. It was
it's like I feel like it's implied that something's going on. Like I don't entirely believe that Howard's just like
I'm convinced Howard is just like
attracted to walruses.
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
But then he like cuddles against Wallace at one point and like sings to him, like when he's the walrus, he like cuddles up next to him and just like it's so
he was probably like recreating what he did with Mr. Tusk on like the iceberg.
Ew.
Or at least Mr. Tusk's corpse.
Yeah. Well, and then he makes Wallace eat a mackerel.
Yeah.
So now he's fully like walrus. He is walrus.
Yeah. I think he failed to make him walrus, cause like...
Well, no, because later on... Okay, so like in the beginning, right, he's crying.
Philosophically.
Oh, philosophically?
Philosophically. I don't think he met walrus standards.
Yeah.
You know?
He kind of did, because later in the movie, right, I think, Allie says, like, because when Allie and Teddy find him, they don't kill him. Like, they don't put him out of his misery.
No, they don't.
Which I'm like... me personally, shoot me in the head. I would not want to be a walrus.
I would prefer it that way, especially they just like keep him in a zoo.
Exactly, they just keep him there.
Like, why? Who is going to see that?
Just Allie and Teddy, and then they're going off and they're like dating now, and so I'm like they just keep him, and I'm like that is so selfish because he can't put himself out of his misery, so he's just there. But Allie says like. She says, like, her dad had told her that it's okay to cry or something because that's what sets us apart from the animals. And earlier, Wallace cried, like, the entire movie. But then at that moment, he doesn't cry anymore. So I think then he's truly a walrus.
I think he cried.
At the end?
Yeah, he cried.
He did?
He did.
Oh, like, then there was my theory. I thought... Shucks.
Man, I think...
Because I think he, like, tears up a little bit, but he doesn't cry like he's been.
Maybe he did become philosophically walrus.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, now he has regret and remorse.
Well, and now he's just eating mackerel. Like, it's like he enjoy. Like, they know to bring that to him now.
Yeah.
Like, he can still... Theoretically, he could still eat, like, a McDonald's cheeseburger if they really wanted to bring him, like... But they purposely bring him mackerel... Which, like, makes me believe that now he is. Like, I think in the beginning he wasn't when he was first made a walrus. Yeah. But I think at the end, he's so far gone.
I honestly didn't think about that. I still thought that maybe he could have been, like, a mostly human person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they just sort of kept him in the walrus suit, and he couldn't speak because he didn't have a tongue.
Yeah.
But, no.
Yeah. But my favorite scene, honestly, in this entire movie is when Howard puts on a walrus suit and they have walruses fighting in the background.
Good. Just like the slapping, it wasn't even a fight. And he just
They're like just bitch slapping each other.
They're like slamming into each other. It's so good.
Well, and then Howard is like, Mr. Tusk, you didn't have a chance to kill me before, so now I'm going to give you a chance.
But your survival instincts have kicked in, and so have mine.
Well, and then he takes off the suit, and he just has the, like, head and tusk.
He doesn't take it off. He, like, bursts from it. He's, like, birthing from it like a newborn baby. Ew. That's what I think the symbolism
He's like a
was.
baby walrus.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. I think we cracked the code.
Oh, no, the dog.
Aww. Man.
Bobby, no.
I think he agrees.
Are you making the dog?
With the birth symbolism.
I think so. Yeah, well, and then it's like Wallace kills him, like, with his tusks. And I think that's when he becomes a walrus. Because I think that's when he fully gives into, like...
Like, when he's, like, screaming and stuff.
Mm-hmm, when he's, like, stabbing him with his tusks.
Yeah.
I think that's when he's, like, philosophically, like...
Yeah.
Or, like, mentally a walrus.
He's, like... Ooh.
Yeah.
Do you think that being, like, a murderer is part of being walrus?
I feel like the tusks kind of, like, imply that.
Maybe Howard was walrus.
Yeah.
Was he walrus?
I think Howard was partially mentally a walrus, but I don't think he could ever physically be. Like, I think he takes too much enjoyment in making other people walruses, because he wants to show them this way of life, you know?
Yeah, and I think philosophically, he probably believes he can't redeem himself after killing Mr. Tusk. He's convinced he's human.
He probably doesn't believe he's, like, deserving of being a walrus. He's not worthy.
And that's why he had to have, like, Mr. Tusk kill him. Maybe death was, like, his redemption, sort of.
Right.
Man.
It was his rebirth.
I'm so sad for him. He doesn't believe in himself. But
self-confidence, Howard.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and then when Wallace is killing Howard, there's this, like, music in the background, and it sounds like Mario music. Like, yeah. It literally sounds like Mario music. Pull it up. It sounds like Mario music.
I wasn't paying attention to it that much.
It's the goofiest thing I've ever heard, because he's, like, dying and screaming, and then there's, like, it's like...
I was too focused on, like, the action going on screen. Oh, I do remember that. It's a banger. I love this song.
So I have money.
It's like a fiesta. Like, what is happening? I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, like it introduced with like the war drums. It was so good. The walruses. He set up for that. He like changed the projectors. He got on his suit.
He had like a slide. He's like you.
Yeah.
He's like you, but like serial killer style.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to live up to him.
You're welcome, Rory.
He's my new favorite.
Who doesn't want to be like Howard now? But also, when Allie and Teddy walk in, like, Allie just starts sobbing, and then Teddy's just like...
Yeah, I felt...
He's just, like, staring.
Yeah,
his face is just blank, and I'm like, Teddy, what?
I felt bad for them. That part made me kind of upset, because, like... just imagining that in real life, like...
Yeah.
She probably blames himself for ignoring him, too. Like, his calls.
Yeah.
Or herself.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
But it's just, like... Teddy's like no reaction. He walks in and it's just like,
no,
he's like,
he was,
oh
like,
no,
disturbed.
bro.
Maybe.
Well, and the thing is Johnny Depp's character LaPointe or whatever is going to kill Wallace, and then Allie stops him.
Does she?
Yeah, because LaPointe is like pointing the gun at Wallace.
Yeah, but then it cuts to like the scene of.
Mm-hmm. Well, Allie like screams no. And then it's like 1 year later in SpongeBob voice. And,
that part confused me so much. Because I honestly thought that maybe Allie, like, killed the detective or whatever.
Mm-mm.
But...
I think what happened is she stopped Johnny Depp's character from killing Wallace.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, damn, girl. Like, he is not really going to be able to live now. Like, this is not... You know? And then, like, a year later, he's still alive, and he's still a walrus.
Man, can we just talk about, like, Johnny Depp? I loved him so much in this. He was so funny.
His accent.
Like, just the way he didn't care about anything when he was telling them about, like, how he kills people.
He's like, your friend might be a walrus now, but it's okay, because I'm here. And I was just like, what?
Man.
Or where he's telling the story of how he met Howard. Like, when Howard was, like, playing some weird hillbilly type dude. And was like, there's a spider in my toilet.
He was convincing. Like, with his different voices and stuff.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Well, I think he's good at manipulating people.
Yeah, he's, like, a good artist, a good surgeon, a good boater, actor, abusive boyfriend. 23 people is a lot.
Yeah, well,
Too.
for 10 years, too.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, it does take time to, like, make someone into a walrus.
Oh, he has commitment, too?
Yeah, he's loyal.
Loyal. He can sew.
We should make him a Tinder profile.
We should.
Howard Howe.
Yeah, he is my everything. Right behind the detective. I love Johnny Depp a bit more.
You're like, when I grow up, I want to be Howard Howe.
I do. I want to turn everyone into a walrus and make the world perfect.
That's what I'm saying though, is if Howard Howe wasn't so traumatized that he killed, all of his previous Mr. Tusks, do you think he would have made an army of walruses? Like, I feel like they would have taken over the world. It's like Thanos.
That's a good question. Are the walruses strong enough to, like, beat man?
I don't know.
Though?
Well...
In one-on-one, but...
Well, but if you think about it, if he has so many walruses...
So many walruses?
You could outnumber the people.
He could, like, start off by taking over his town.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And then he can, like, expand out from Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, but... And then he needs to take the battle to sea where his walruses have the advantage.
Right. You're thinking strategy.
Yeah.
It's like Battleship, but with walruses.
Walruses? I like it. He could, like, employ the actual walruses. Man.
Employ them.
He
drafts the walruses into his war.
Exactly. But who is he fighting?
The humans.
But who exactly? What are the humans using to combat the walruses?
I feel like guns, but I feel like the walruses are already so damaged that it's like,
Yeah, but what would kill a walrus? Like...
I feel like other tusks. So the only way the walruses would be defeated is if there was an uprising from within.
You're right. So then all the other walruses could, like, start demanding from Howard, you know.
It would be like their own little war within the walruses, and then different factions would form. And you have the Democrat walruses and the Republican walruses.
The green walruses. The Federalist walruses. But then that infighting, it gives the humans an advantage. And
that is true. Which is why Howard would have a secret service to take down the walrus uprising.
You're right. And afterwards, like, how would they reproduce, though?
Ooh, that is true.
Yeah.
Maybe Howard keeps some humans alive. Maybe walruses become the new humans, and then humans become, like, zoo animals. I feel like we
took this the wrong way. Never mind.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe humans become the zoo animals.
Human breeding camps. Make walrus babies.
No, it's like, how they take, like, endangered animals?
Yes. Is that the idea?
Maybe it's Howard House.
Do you think in the walrus society, like... When a kid becomes walrusified, do they have to, like, get a new skin suit every couple years?
Like robots? Do you know that movie that I'm talking about?
I do know that movie.
They have to, like, borrow... Ew.
Probably. But, like, how are they going to get all the skin for that? Are they going to keep recycling?
Well, if you think about how many humans are on Earth...
Yeah.
You have some that are zoo animals now. You have some that are for the walrus suits.
I see. And then the rest,
become walruses.
Yeah, and then you just keep, like, recycling the old suits,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it could work. But I feel like it wouldn't be a democracy. It would definitely be a dictatorship with Howard Howe at, like, the...
It would be. It would probably be, like, a weird sex call, honestly, with him.
That is probably true, honestly,
Yeah.
because I do not believe Johnny Depp's character. That's the one thing I'm like, you are wrong, sir, because there's no way it was just, you know what I mean? There's some weird vibes.
Definitely wasn't.
Because he also has a walrus penis on his wall.
Yeah, he did keep that part, but...
Like, why that part specifically? Like, why not the tusk? Why that?
Maybe he... I don't want to get too deep into it, but, like, we know he didn't... he has problems with sex based on, like, his past.
Right,
so I'm
right.
thinking maybe he like wanted to,
but didn't.
Because
So that's
he
where
was
the
a bit
vibes.
traumatized.
Well, yeah, because they do go into his trauma, which like that part is sad.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, as a kid, like he was a child, like that's horrible that he was abused and well, cuz the orphanage, the government like dissembled the orphanage and sent all the orphans to like insane asylums.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is not a place for a child.
And that's where he
That's where he became Howard Howe. And he wanted to kill walruses. Well, I guess he didn't even discover the walrus thing till later.
Yeah,
so that was like on the boat? Well, he says he ran away at like 15 or something, I think.
But where did he get the mansion from?
Who I don't know.
Ooh.
Well, and here's the thing is I think he says he ran away. Yeah, he escaped at 15 and he got on a boat to the US and that's when he was on that ship. So when he met Mr. Tusk, he was like 15.
Yeah.
But in this movie, he's an old man and
So he's been going on for like a while.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Johnny Depp says it's only been the last 10 years that he's been trailing him. And in that time, he's killed 23 people. But I don't think he just started.
No,
then.
Probably not.
Because I feel like you got to build up to that. You're not immediately going to be like this great surgeon.
I do believe that. He probably started off with just like a couple people trying to make his walrus perfection work, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect it.
Yeah. So I feel like that's been going on for like a while. Like I don't believe he started doing that as an old man.
Yeah. So then...
Which is like, then he's definitely killed way more than 23 people.
Definitely.
Because 23 people in the last 10 years...
And
since he was 15.
He made like at least 3 walrus suits. That's
like,
probably enough to make. 23 people is probably enough for 3 walrus suits.
Yeah, but that's per like, that's 10 years he says he killed 23 people. So, and that's only in the last 10 years. And if he's like 60, 70, that still leaves like a large chunk of time.
So somewhere out there's like prototype walrus suits.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like Iron Man, but like with walrus
like
suits.
Iron Man. Like he has a warehouse full of them that he can call down. Jesus.
Walrus suits. He has like metal walrus suits.
He has a space network. Do you think Walrus Society could be better?
I feel like it'd be painful if you were a walrus.
Like a human walrus or like
a
an actual
human walrus.
Yeah.
Are we talking about like actual walruses?
What happens to them?
I don't know. Maybe they become like, maybe they're like the top of the hierarchy.
I think they would disapprove.
Maybe they're the uprising.
Maybe they're gonna be like, you know, voicing out against Howard Howe.
Yeah.
He doesn't know the real walrus way.
Well, then, and maybe that's why maybe that's why Howard creates more walruses, is because he feels even more bad because he's killed real walruses this time.
Yeah.
So he feels like he has to make up for it.
Do you think that if the real walruses were like, hey, this needs to stop, would he put his like insanity above the walrus's word?
I think so.
That's maybe.
Because I think he's far gone. Like, I think he views the walruses like a pet almost, not necessarily like an equal.
More like a sexual object.
Yeah, like, I don't think he views them on his level.
Yeah.
I think he respects them to an extent, but I don't think he would, like, give them a say in their society. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he still says that, like, walruses are the perfect being, you know?
That is true. So I think maybe maybe he's so crazy that he thinks he's basically a walrus. Like, he aspires to be one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's sort of the idea.
Well, and then maybe each time that he's killed the previous walruses, it just kind of proves to him, like, I'm more walrus than this walrus. The word walrus is losing, like, all meaning at this point.
I'm more Walt. I'm sorry. So he's doing this to prove that
to himself that he's the alpha.
Maybe when he was like 15, you know, he was a little beta male, but now he's like, he was the alpha.
Howard's an alpha male now.
He exists outside of the spectrum.
He's above the alpha.
He is Sigma. He is Sigma Walrus. He listens... What's an Andrew Tate walrus pun?
Oh my god. Well, didn't Andrew Tate have a podcast?
I think so. He probably has a lot. The top marine?
Marine?
Does G rhyme? G doesn't rhyme with marine. I'm certain someone could think of one. I don't know, we're wasting time. The top marine podcast.
The top marine podcast.
The secret to walrus success. Eat fish. Fight betas with Tusk.
Put on music. You gotta put on that classical music. And then you gotta have a projector with...
You have to have art. Lots of
art.
preparing.
Yes.
And you need to rely on your instincts. Just because they're telling you that you need to function as walrus, is if it gives you the advantage, you need to function like man. Birth from your walrus suit and fight in any way possible.
Well, here's the thing though. When he burst out of that walrus suit, that's when he died. So I wonder, remember? Because he bursts out of the walrus suit and then he dies. So I wonder if before, right, he has been in the walrus suit and maybe that's why he succeeded. Because walruses, superior.
Whoa! I believe it. He could have won that if he didn't leave the walrus suit. He probably could have won that. He could have.
Because he was hurting him. Like, Wallace was dying until he stepped out of the walrus suit.
Except he didn't have tusks, did he?
He did.
Did he?
Yeah, because he was, like, stabbing him with the tusks.
Oh, no. Mr. Tusk had tusks, but I don't think Howard Howe had tusks.
Yeah, Howard Howe had tusks.
He did have tusks.
He did have tusks.
I see. Hold on, can we... It seems pretty even.
Yeah.
I think it was even.
It was even?
It was even.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah.
So what did we learn?
Walrus is superior.
The way the walrus is not just shape, but a state of mind.
Yeah. To become a walrus, you have to shed humanity. You have to become walrus.
You have to eat the fish.
Yeah.
You have to rely on the tusks.
Mm-hmm. You have to fight betas.
You have to kill betas. You have to eat betas, absorb their power, and become...
Oh, dang.
That's what he was doing.
You have to create a walrus society. A walrus dictatorship, if you will.
The top marine grind set.
Howard Howe is just actually Andrew Tate.
I believe it. That would explain the skills. That would explain the top G behavior.
Do you think Howard Howe was a gym bro?
Maybe in one of his like fake personas he was. Like
it's good.
When he wanted to like, you know, move up from the little mackerels to the biggest catfish.
Right, yeah.
He targets the gyms. Mm-hmm.
He works out, he's like lifting. Do you think he works out in the walrus?
How would that work?
No, just the headpiece on.
Just with like his tongue.
With just the tusks.
I think he practiced with the tusks. Like, on a punching bag, he would find the best angle. He would find better ways to secure them. Man, do you think he slept in it? Do you think he could recede into it like a turtle shell?
Well, Wallace can.
Wallace can,
so I wonder if Howard can, probably.
But Howard could go, like, all the way. He could, like, take his head out and just get deep
like
into
a turtle.
Yeah.
He's actually just Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Maybe it was never about walruses.
Maybe it was about turtles.
Turtle grinds. The top T giant. Okay.
Well, and then there's actually... So there's a second movie called Yoga Hosers or something, or Hose or something like that. And then the third one comes out in 2024, and it's called Moose Jaws.
What could those possibly be? Like yoga...
Yoga something?
Yoga Jew. What?
Hold on. Let me look up the synopsis really quick. Yoga Hosers. 2 teenage yoga enthusiasts team up with a legendary manhunter to battle with an ancient evil presence that is threatening their major party plans.
So it's like yoga wizards?
Oh my god.
That's sick. Because, like, I thought...
Johnny Depp is also in this one, and he plays the same character.
Oh,
So
he's
I wonder.
returning?
Yeah. Oh, and
That's
Justin Long's
sick.
also in this one. Austin Butler, Elvis, is in this one.
Ooh, I don't know who that is.
Austin Butler.
I'm not very educated
He played. You
on
know
actors.
the latest Elvis movie that came out. The no. Where have you been?
I have been in my room.
You're like, what is Oppenheimer?
watching Dan TDM.
So and then there's a third one that's gonna come out in 2024
Yeah.
called Moose Jaws. Moose
Ooh.
Jaws is basically Jaws with a moose.
Ooh. Fascinating. Is it like a zombie moose or is it just a regular moose?
I don't know.
Like a demon moose is what I'm imagining.
I just don't know how they're all connected. Like, I'm assuming they all have Johnny Depp in them, so I'm assuming he's, like, investigating some sort of thing. Maybe it's a bunch of different serial killers.
Maybe it's gonna keep going with, like, the idea of man versus animal.
Mm-hmm.
Like...
Especially Moose Jaws. That sounds kind of lit, actually.
Yeah,
If
moose
that comes out
jaws.
in theaters.
It's like, become a moose.
Yeah.
Eat the squirrel. Do
Do moose eat squirrel?
I don't know. It's just like the mackerel of land.
That's so true, though. Actually.
Kill beta moose, become stronger moose. Build moose suit. Recede like turtle.
Recede like turtle. That'd be really freaky because, like, mooses' heads are so far out.
Oh.
And then when they recede.
Imagine this movie with giraffes. Would be great.
That'd be terrifying. It's like a
Oh.
slinky.
Oh, that's creepy. I'm just thinking now because, like,
All the
trying to
different
get...
animals.
Trying to, like, separate someone's head so it's, like,
Ooh.
way out there while their body's down there.
Or their body is in the trunk.
Maybe.
But then how do they move their legs?
They probably don't have legs. Because I'm imagining, like...
Well, the legs were only removed in Tusk so that he could make tusks from their own leg bones.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he would remove the legs.
Maybe. But, like, if he wants to fit them in the neck...
That's true.
I'm imagining more, like, spine extensions. Like, it's just hanging
That'd be
by
an
the threads of the
extreme
nerves.
spine extension.
That would be... Ooh, that would be painful. I wouldn't like that. Maybe I would. Not for it to happen to me, like a movie about it.
Oh, I was like
a movie
Rory,
about
what?
spine extensions.
Extensions? Have you ever seen Human Centipede?
I've...
Heard of it? Probably.
I don't want to.
Okay. See, it kind of reminds me of this one because it's like a mad doctor, like, sewing things
Yeah.
to create things.
Yeah.
Except Human Centipede is, like, 10 times worse, I feel.
Mm.
Because that one's just, like, gross. It's not even,
just
like,
meant
that.
to be disturbing.
Yeah. This one's, like, funny because it's so stupid.
Oh, imagine, like, Tusk the musical, though. I think it could work.
On Broadway. Well,
Yeah.
it's Howard Howe, he sings.
He does sing, but imagine, like, this song that Mr. Tusk sing after he becomes the walrus.
Yeah.
Like, it would be so sad. It would be like a dramatic lament on the top of his little island. Like, he's just sitting there, the light is shining out on him, there's a fog machine.
So,
Something along-
what is your rating out of 5 for this one? Like, what would you rate this?
I would give this movie 4 mackerels out of 5 alpha walruses.
Okay, so I would give this movie 3.5 mackerels out of alpha
Walrus.
walruses. Okay. Yeah,
4
because it's
out
like
of 5.
almost like it's so silly.
Maybe.
It's so. Here's the thing: is it's meant to be goofy. Like, it's not meant to be a serious
Obviously, yeah.
one. So then, like, it's better for me because if it was trying to take itself seriously, then I'd be like.
Sort of like the Winnie the Pooh movie. Like, they didn't joke around at all.
That
in that
one
movie.
was funny though. It was funny, but it was also like they're coming out with a sequel.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. There were some things about the Winnie the Pooh movie that bothered me, but I hope the sequel's better.
Mm-hmm. I feel like maybe with all the publicity it got, I'm sure they have like more funding for that.
Yeah. The next one's gonna be so great. With Tigger.
Tigger.
Tigger?
Tigger.
Weird.
You said tiger.
What? I forgot the name of it.
I guess it is a tiger, right?
It is a tiger.
I mean, it makes sense. Okay.
All right.
Well.
4 mackerels out of 5.
4. Okay.
Alpha walruses.
Okay. All right. Well, that is the end of our review of Tusk. Thank you, Rory, for coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching the movie that you were scared of so you could come on the podcast.
I'm not as scared of it anymore.
You're not scared of it anymore?
Not anymore. I've overcome my fear of walruses.
Exposure therapy.
Oh, grand. I feel like it was more talking therapy. Circle time. But yeah.
Thanks again to Rory for coming on to the podcast. It was great having him on. And thank you so much for watching. If you are not following me, please follow wherever you are listening. I'm on YouTube, Spotify. On YouTube and Spotify, there are visual versions. So if you haven't watched any of our visual versions, I would go check that out. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, please check out my blog at Maya's Reviews at mayagreviews.wordpress.com, or follow my podcast, also Maya's Reviews, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also find me at Maya the Bookworm on Twitter, because I refuse to say X, Goodreads, BookBub, and Book Sirens. I'm also on Tumblr at Maya's Reviews, at Maya the Bookworm on TikTok, and at ML Grimley on Instagram. If you want me to review your book or just come on the podcast to talk about a movie or novel, anything at all, you can reach out to me at mayagbookreviews@gmail.com. I do ask that if you are reaching out in regards to anything publicity related, that you check my publicity request page on my blog first and then reach out to me. It just makes it easier so you have all the information I need so we can get you on the podcast if you want. Thank you so much for listening, and go watch Tusk if you haven't watched it yet. Okay, ready?
Probably.
1, 2, 3. Welcome back to my reviews. Rory, you're supposed to say that part with me.
Oh.
I was like waiting for you to say it. Okay.
Alright, easy peasy.
Okay. 1. Why did you think I counted down?
I don't know. Maybe it was so I could get my face ready.
Okay. Holly's waiting for this episode, man. We gotta be serious.
Holly helped me make one of my bullet points. The only bullet point I have.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I could technically, if I really wanted to, if I was like, no more Rory, I could literally just edit you out.
That would be so cool.
It's just your disembodied voice.
But I don't think you could. You don't know what white balance is.
Okay.